the ground beneath my feet. I stood there, the weight of my family's laughter ringing in my ears like a twisted symphony. A dreamer wasting time in dirt, they had called me, their voices dripping with disdain as I unveiled my plans for urban permaculture, transforming abandoned lots into green sanctuaries. I could still see the way my father's face twisted into a sneer, how my siblings rolled their eyes, and how my mother's disappointment hung heavy in the air. "You'll fail," they said. "You're an embarrassment." At that moment, I felt the ground beneath me shift, not in the way a soil scientist might appreciate, but in a way that left me feeling unmoored and vulnerable. I had just finished my presentation at the university, only to be met with public ridicule from my peers, and now I faced the same from my own family. The sting of their words cut deeper than any academic dismissal ever could. What was I thinking? Trying to change the world with dirt? But as I left that suffocating house, something ignited within me, a fierce determination. I was not a failure. I was a soil scientist, and I would prove them wrong. I packed my bags and set off into the unknown, armed only with my knowledge and an unwavering resolve to create something beautiful from the rubble of forgotten urban spaces. The journey was grueling. Days turned into weeks and weeks into months as I toiled alone in the dirt, transforming vacant lots into thriving ecosystems. I faced relentless challenges, skeptical neighbors, the ever-watchful eyes of the city council, and a community that had long forgotten the power of green spaces. Every setback felt like a punch to the gut, but I kept pushing forward, fueled by the vision of lush gardens where concrete once ruled. I poured my soul into these projects, each seed I planted a defiant act against the mockery that still echoed in my mind. Then one day, as I stood in the middle of my latest project, a once-abandoned lot that now burst with life, I received a call that would change everything. A documentary crew was interested in featuring my work. They wanted to showcase urban ecological restoration, highlighting not just the environmental benefits, but the healing it could bring to communities. My heart raced. This was my chance to reach beyond the dirt and show the world what was possible. Months passed, and the documentary aired, sweeping across screens and sparking conversations about sustainable living, community engagement, and the importance of green spaces in urban environments. My work, once dismissed as ridiculous, was finally gaining the recognition it deserved. The tide was turning, and I was riding the wave of success. But my heart remained tethered to my family's home, the place where it all began. And so, I decided to return. I wanted them to see what I had become, to witness the impact of my work firsthand. When I arrived, I could feel the tension in the air. The familiar house looked the same, but the memories felt heavy with unspoken words and unresolved feelings. They were gathered in the living room, their expressions a mix of surprise and discomfort as I walked through the door. "Look who's back," my father said, his tone somewhere between incredulity and sarcasm. "Dad, I'm not here to argue," I replied, my heart pounding. "I want to show you something." With that, I led them outside, to a lot just down the street. It had been a barren wasteland when I first laid eyes on it, but now it bloomed with vibrant flowers, vegetables ripe for the picking, and trees that whispered tales of resilience. The energy of the community was palpable. Children played among the greenery, neighbors gathered to share stories, and the air was filled with laughter. As my family stepped onto the lot, their expressions shifted from skepticism to awe. "Is this yours?" my mother whispered, her voice trembling. "Yes," I said, my heart soaring. "This is what I've been working for. This is what I believe in." They walked through the garden, their eyes widening as they took in the transformation. I shared the stories of the people who had joined me in this journey, the lives that had been changed, the healing that had taken place in this space. I could see the realization dawning on their faces. Their laughter, their ridicule, all of it had been misguided. As we stood together, surrounded by the vibrant life I had nurtured, I felt a warmth spread through me. I had not only reclaimed my dignity, but had transformed the very ground beneath us into a testament of resilience and hope. In that moment, my father turned to me, his voice cracking. "I'm sorry, son. I never believed you could do this." "It's okay," I replied, tears brimming in my eyes. I had to believe in myself, even when no one else did. Years of derision melted away as we embraced, each of us recognizing the power of dreams, no matter how outlandish they may seem. I had transformed not just the land, but the relationships that had once felt so fractured. As the sun set, casting a golden glow over the garden, I knew this was just the beginning. I had turned ridicule into redemption. And I was ready to keep digging deeper, not just into the soil, but into the hearts of those around me. This was my triumph, a testament that sometimes the most ridiculous dreams can yield the most extraordinary results.